I'm Janie.
And I'm Britt.
And we are lit. When faith feels stuck, finding hope in the waiting. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Lit Show. Today's episode is When Faith Feels Stuck. If you've ever felt stuck, whether in your spiritual life, career, or relationship, you're not alone. Today, we'll dive into what it means to feel spiritually stuck and how we can find hope and purpose even when life feels paused. Jeremiah 29:11. I love this verse. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Sometimes it's hard to see that plan when we're standing still. I remember when I was writing my book, and I remember feeling stuck, and it wasn't like a writer's
block.
Block. It was more like, do I want to share this? Do I want to share that? Like, what part should I leave out? What part should I put in there? And I just remember praying about it and God wanting me to share all of it. And that was hard to
let go of things you were kind of like, I don't know if I should share that.
Yeah. Or I don't want people to know how I felt, you know, like being, I guess it would be called vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want people to think that I felt like I wasn't smart. Signs of being stuck: lack of motivation to prayer or worship, feeling distant from God, even in church, comparing your life to others who seem to be moving forward. If you've ever felt this way, you're not failing, you're human. Even King David in Psalms cried out to God in moments of despair. Why we feel stuck. Reasons for feeling stuck. We thought life would look different. Sometimes God calls us to be still for spiritual growth. We may unknowingly put distance between us and God. I've done that before.
Mm-hmm.
Psalms 41, I waited patiently for the Lord. He turned to me and heard my cry.
I've done all of those things.
Yeah. I think whenever I was like, I felt stuck whenever I had broke up with one boyfriend and just started praying like for my husband. I felt stuck in that waiting period, feeling like, well, I don't really want like a man. I just want it to be myself, and God, if you want this for me, you know, bring him to me type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I'm not looking, kind of like what season you're in now.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll get impatient with myself.
Yeah.
I will. And not even know that I'm doing that. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I've been waiting. God, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then some days, like, you don't want it.
Mm-hmm.
And then some days you do.
Yeah.
Like, if you're feeling lonely, then you do. And then, like, some days you're just like, oh, man, like, you know, I love my life, how it is. And
well, then sometimes he'll show me that, like, I didn't need it. Then I needed something else from him.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I remember when we were waiting to restore the studio.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, that was a really big one for us, and we felt stuck.
I felt helpless because I was way out 2 hours from here, like not knowing what to do.
Yeah. And I feel like in the waiting, it just built patience and our character and endurance.
Confidence for me.
Yeah.
Because when we were just like released it to God, we totally surrendered everything. We're just like left with nothing. And then I started missing it. So then it was like, this is supposed to be, we're supposed to be doing this.
Yeah. And it was like a hunger for it.
Yes.
Not even like a miss, but like.
I was like, I was praying for it to happen.
Yeah. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to read the how to move
forward when you're stuck? Turn to God in prayer. Be honest with God. He can handle your questions, fears, and doubts.
That's good.
A prayer example would be, God, I don't understand, but I trust you. Number 2, reflect on his past faithfulness. Remember times when God has shown up in your life before, like all the blessings. That's what I do. I like to write out blessings when I'm like confused or mad. A song is God, turn it around.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember who sings that, but I do know which song.
Mm-hmm. I love that song.
Mm-hmm. Surround yourself with encouragement. Seek community, whether through small groups, friends, or mentors. Another example is having someone to pray with you can make all the difference. And then the fourth is take small steps of faith. Read a devotional, attend a service, or listen to worship music. Small actions can rekindle the fire. And there's some Sundays I wake up and I'm like, I do not want to go today, God. But I'm glad when I make myself do it.
Yeah.
Every time, 100%, I feel better.
Yeah.
I guess it's my turn to read my story.
Yeah.
After some time of walking with the Lord, I sometimes get a sense of needing a renewal. I find myself at times drifting back to some of the old habits and patterns of my past life. My human body and mind tend to gravitate towards the things in this world, and praise God, my spirit convicts me of constantly wanting change. Sometimes I need change to a point of repenting of my sins and asking God to help me change. This time around, God led me into a fast that changed my life. He knew I was stuck, but he also knew he couldn't pull me into him closer without me letting go of some things that were blocking me from him. After a year of thinking about the Daniel fast and even seeing a live play on Daniel, I completely understood that God wanted me to challenge myself to this fast for him. I prepared 2 weeks prior to slow down on my caffeine intake and study about different recipes of food items I could prepare for myself in this fast. The rules made total sense to me. I was instructed to consume only plant-based foods and water. This meant no meat, dairy, caffeine, alcohol, or sugar, similar to the diet followed by Daniel in his story. I was infatuated with his story. I challenge anyone to read it if you want to learn about a real warrior. A lot had happened to me in those 21 days. So much noise stopped in my head. The chattering from being anxious off the caffeine went away. My emotions were up and down like a roller coaster because in doing the food part of the fast, I even decided to then turn the TV off and let go of social media as well. I had felt like it all went hand in hand for me since I really wanted to grow closer to God, and it worked. I could hear him louder and clearer than I ever had. I started to hear old patterns come up inside of me, and I started to redirect all of my thinking and understood the difference of what a lie and what the truth was. My sword got sharper, my shield much bigger, my steps were more at peace, and my helmet withstood so many more blows from the enemy's schemes. I could tell my senses were much more heightened to his grace by gifting more of his love and his faith for me. Even towards the end, I ended up with the flu and got tested I got tested for sure from. I was so mad at God for being on a fast right here on my birthday, and I wanted to understand why I was alone. In the midst of this pain and all the tears that came with it, there Jesus was waiting. He had never changed, and he wasn't angry. He was there. In those moments is when the biggest rush of love nearly swept me away, and that's when I realized God is enough, and he is all I'll ever need in this life to fill in the voided gaps of what my human flesh can only see and feel through my weaknesses. I had learned so much about surrendering, and am so blessed to have had that experience with him and came out so much stronger and braver than I ever had before. The lions around me were asleep, and I could rest assured knowing that God is the winner always.
That is good. Wow.
Yeah, that was a really big, huge life changer for me.
Yeah, I didn't realize. I remember you told me, but I didn't realize that you had given up TV and.
It only made sense when I first started to let go of all of the bad foods. Like I got rid of all the chips, all the everything in my house. I literally prepared for 2 weeks my whole house for this. And when I started to make all these foods like to prepare, something inside of me, I just felt convicted. I was just like, I can't turn the TV on.
Yeah.
I've got to study. I got to be with God. And so
I
was either behind the chair working or I was studying with the Lord.
Yeah.
For 21 days straight.
Yeah. Which is awesome.
And I had all kinds of signs come to me. It was wild.
That is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
We have to remember that being stuck isn't the end of your story, but it's part of the process.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes when God may have us feel like we're stuck to do something like you did.
Yeah.
You know, to draw us closer. Wow, that's awesome.
I just knew I needed it because I wasn't growing any more fruit. I was just like, just going through the motions, and I don't ever want to be that type of Christian.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah, I like that. That's awesome.
And I'm glad I know that about myself. If I feel that way, then I'm just going to do a fast. I'm going to do something to get me just with him.
Yeah. I like that. I love that. Well, thank you everyone for listening. And remember, you're not alone in your struggles. We would love to hear your stories, so comment below. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.